Today's episode is brought to you by DB. DB is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. Over the past decade, DB has designed and developed, released, and refined the best bags in the market. With DB's patented hookup system, you are able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote.
It's important to have the right bag for your travels and adventures, and DB has you covered. From the Nair duffel to the strong backpack, DB ensures you always have the right gear for your journey. We are teaming up with DB to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10 or going to the link in our show notes. DB, it's time to move on. Time to get going.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 290. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Well, I gotta say, a little behind the scenes. As people probably know, we took a week off. You realize
seemed like an eternity. It seemed like we took more than a week off, right?
It was an eternity for me. Dan. So we had no Saturday morning retro. We took off that month. We had no regular Rated G episode on that Tuesday. We are back now, stronger than ever. Had a little bit of a medical scare, which is why we took the time off. And feeling a lot better now. Went to the doctor, got a battery of tests. Everything's good. I got some medication. I'm ready to rock and roll, Dan.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're not a zombie. You didn't get bitten.
I have a small taste for flesh, but I don't think it's anything to worry about.
Okay, all right.
I think you'll be fine.
All right. Well, you know what? As long as that flesh, you keep that flesh to barbecue and not human.
Can't make any promises. I can't make any promises.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you're okay. It did seem like an eternity, right?
I know.
Like I didn't post to social media. I didn't post my pickups because we had more important things to worry about, like making sure Dave didn't turn into a zombie. So, but
it's true.
I'm glad you're still with us, even though you may still be an SNL zombie. It's okay.
SNL,
which is, if you don't know what that means, you got to go Google SNL and zombies, a self-aware zombie.
See? Yeah, I was actually trying to find last night's episode. They just kicked off the season. It is not on Hulu yet. I'm upset.
And I totally missed it. I passed out. I was sleeping.
You watching the clips? I got you.
All right, let's kick the show off. We have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk all things Nintendo Direct from 2 weeks ago. Because, we got to make up. We got top gaming news last 2 weeks. And we found out the real reason why God of War Ragnarok was delayed. But before we get into all of that, let's begin the show with the notable games coming out this month, because we're in the thick of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So starting off October 1st, which was 2 days ago, FIFA 22 came out. All right, came out for PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, and PS4. Now, I only bring this up because I know you love FIFA. You have a tradition of playing FIFA with your brother, right?
That's right.
The thing that you guys bond over.
I have like every version. I've been buying them annually since 14, and got them all lined up on the Xbox. It looks beautiful. There's an interesting fact about the new one. I don't have 22 yet. I'm gonna wait for because it always goes on sale like half price during the holidays. You can get it for like $30. So I'm gonna wait. I don't need the latest and greatest just yet. But it is interesting. On the cover is PSG superstar Kylian Mbappe. Now, you may think, well, of course, Kylian Mbappe, arguably the best player in the whole entire FIFA league. But he was on the cover last year on 21, right? With the atrocious collage situation with all the different photos on there that people hated. But he was the guy on there. And I think this may be the first time where a player has been on the cover back to back. I think there may have been return players that have come, a couple years later. They'll put him back on. He's still the best. Let's go ahead and put him on the cover. But yeah, they put him on again for 22. So he must still be the best. All right. It's a much better cover. He's kind of looking up to the heavens. It's just him. It's very nice. It's tasteful. So.
Okay. You know what? I feel you so much. I'm gonna pick this game up too.
Are you?
You know when? I am in 2030 when it's when I can find it at Goodwill for $2.
2030. Try like summer of 2022. This game goes deep on sale. People, all the hardcore FIFA fans buy it right away. Goes on sale during the holidays, and middle of the year next year, it's already like half price is the regular price.
That's still too much for me. I need to get it for $2.
Yeah, so guaranteed 2023. That's when it drops. Once the next year comes out, nobody wants the previous year.
Well, October 5th seems to be a big day. Right, we got Alan Wake Remastered coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. All right, that's a fantastic game from 2 generations ago that's being remastered for this generation.
I've never played it.
I do have the original, right, for the 360. I'm on the
360
fence.
Exclusive, right?
It was a 360 exclusive. I'm on the fence if I want to pick this up. It depends on how much it costs. I think this is a budget game. I think this is like $40.
Okay.
So I may pick this up.
Is that gonna put you? Is $40 gonna put you over the line? $60, not so much. $40, you may be in on it.
Definitely not paying $60 for a game that came out 2 generations ago and it's not a remake. So I reserve those for Final Fantasy. Right.
That's fair. That's fair. That's it's the same argument we made for Skyward Sword, right?
That's true.
Skyward Sword, $60, not a remake, only a remaster.
But there's one big difference with Skyward Sword between Skyward Sword and Alan Wake, and the spectrum is like this big.
There's no $25 amiibo where it has lock features behind it for Alan Wake.
Okay, so there are 2 things that separate it. Okay, there's 2 things. Okay. Alan Wake is over here. Skyward Sword is over here. You can't even see my hands; they're off camera. You know why? That's how long the spectrum.
That's so
is.
wide. There you go. That's a wingspan.
You know why? Because that's Zelda. That's Nintendo. Come on. That's Zelda. They could get away with that. That's Nintendo.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah.
Come on. Their games never go down in price.
No, Mario Kart still $60. When that game came out 4 years ago?
Well, it's really $50, but yeah.
I mean,
more
maybe
than 4 years ago, like 5 years ago. At this point,
it doesn't matter. It's still $20 more than it should be. It should be a $30 game right now. As a game,
not even. It should be a $20 game.
Okay. Look. That game is a remaster or it is a deluxe. No, it is literally a deluxe version. It is that game with the DLC on the Switch, and that's it. So that should have come out at $40. It should now be on sale at $20, and it is not, because that's the Nintendo way. They're like, look, we have a good product, we know you're going to buy it.
Listen, listen, 3DS games is still like 30, 40, $50. So,
Well,
depending
yeah,
on what
that's
it is.
that's on like GameStop, I think.
No, I think that's on every
They don't make
retailer.
they don't make the games anymore though. They don't make the
That's still
games
on the
anymore.
retailers because they hold their value. They hold their value. They really do.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying they don't. Pokemon games are never going to go below like $30 or $40.
So, and then we got all right. So October 5th, also we have Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, right?
Uh-huh.
Which was, some of the Super Smash Brothers clone with Nickelodeon characters. That's coming out for the PS5, Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Mm-hmm. You gonna get it?
Probably not. I didn't get their kart racing game 1 or 2, right? So maybe I'll get those when there's like a super sale, maybe on a Target and it's on clearance. I'll pick those up.
Mm-hmm. You're not excited to play as April O'Neil?
No, or any of the Ninja Turtles. No, I'm okay.
Oh my God, come on now.
Then we got also October 5th, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania coming out on all platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a big Super Monkey Ball fan.
Oh my God, you're missing out.
Probably not gonna that. And you know what? I will take your word for it. But 2 days later, I am picking this up. That is Far Cry 6 coming out on all platforms, even Stadia.
Yeah,
coming out on Stadia. Well, it's not coming out on Switch. So, but it's coming out even on Stadia.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this because I like the actor.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito. He's a beast.
Yeah, I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, the Stadia thing makes sense because it's Ubisoft. They are
that's true.
They are the one third party. They are possibly the best third party company in terms of like supporting platforms because they were the only one supporting the Wii and the Wii U to some extent. They're only one really supporting Stadia. Right? They put their games out on all platforms. So I got to give them some credit there. They really make sure their games are available everywhere.
Well, keep that in mind. I'm gonna come back to Stadia in a minute.
Okay.
Then the next day after that, we got October 8th. I will be taking that day off from work because I will be at the Nintendo store waiting online to hopefully get not only a Switch OLED, not only Metroid Dread Amiibo, but a Metroid Dread Special Edition.
Nice.
Definitely want to get the whole shebang. So
yeah.
You think you're gonna get one? That is the big day for October.
You think you're gonna get one? That's the question.
If stores have it, like Best Buy, GameStop have it, I will get it. I will get it.
They'll have it. How many
I'll get it.
Copies they'll have.
There's a Best Buy 4 blocks away from the Nintendo store. So if I go to the Nintendo store and I don't get a special edition, first of all, I'm not listen, if I don't get an OLED right away, I'm okay. Okay. I'm really going for the special edition Metroid Dread. That's what I really want.
I mean, sure, because that's the one that's not going to be produced for that long, right? It'll be the initial run, and then you'll just get the standard edition, right? The OLED Switch is going to be around for a while. So
yeah. So that and maybe the Amiibo, right? And if I don't get an OLED, they say they're sold out, I'll go to the Best Buy that's 4 blocks down and see if they still have it, right? I'm going early. Not too early. I'm not sitting here waiting in line at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going. I'll be there when they open and wait online, right?
Oh, so, yeah. I hope you get it, of course, but I think there's going to be a lot of people waiting for it.
No, there will be. Well, here's the thing: it's how many people waiting for it compared to the stock that they have, right? Because if I get into the Nintendo store and get an OLED, get a regular standard edition Dread and Amiibo, it's still a win for me.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course.
Still a win. So, and that's probably when I'm going to pick up Far Cry 6 because I got to go to Best Buy anyway.
Right.
Pick up Far Cry.
There you go.
So, because it comes out the day before, so I'll just wait until that Friday and then pick it up. And then we got on October 12th, we got Back 4 Blood, which was the spiritual successor, right?
For Left 4 Dead, yeah.
For Left 4 Dead. That's coming out on PS5, Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah.
Next, Disco Elysium Final Cut. It's coming out for Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Switch, October 12th. Don't know if that's the physical edition. I think they said the physical edition was coming out early next year. So I think that was just the digital, at least for Xbox. Right. Switch, I mean. At least for the Switch.
Well, I think I don't think they self-published the physical edition at all, right? Wasn't that a limited run thing or something?
I think that was supposed to be a limited run. I don't know if that actually came to fruition. I gotta check my list because I would have bought it. I think they announced it was going to be on unlimited run, but I don't remember that actually dropping yet.
I bet they held it because of the final cut, which is all the extra
DLC,
stuff and that's in the game, right? Because they love to do complete versions if possible. They held that on Celeste most famously to get all the updates in there to get one complete version. So, yeah. Well, but very good game though. I mean, it topped everybody's Game of the Year lists. Right?
Well, as a side note, Cuphead was supposed to get a physical edition. That was delayed because the DLC wasn't ready and still isn't ready.
Still waiting on that DLC. Yeah. Well, we'll get it in like 4 years because the game took like 4 or 5 years to come out. So.
Yeah, and then it turned out to to be Cuphead 2. It won't be DLC. It won't be DLC. It'll
right,
be Cuphead
exactly.
2.0, right?
They should make a sequel though. I mean, God damn, that game is good.
Then we have a Crisis Remastered trilogy, really coming out on pretty much all platforms except for Stadia, October 15th. The Dark Picture Anthology, House of Ashes, is coming out October 21st. That is the third game, right, in the Dark Pictures Anthology. If I remember correctly, that's coming out, and it's coming out in October, which it's a spooky game. It should come out.
Right.
I'm happy when spooky games come out during the Halloween season and not like in November.
Right? Yeah. Theming on point. Yeah. If you miss
or too early when it comes out early September.
Well, I'm okay with September because it's like it's the season. But if you're out November 1st, it's over. I'm sorry. I'm moving on to Turkey at that point.
Yeah. And then we have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy coming out PS5, PS4, Xbox, Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Switch version only streamed.
Right.
Which brings me back to Stadia. This game is being streamed on the Switch. You mean to tell me this can't be on Stadia? Like, why wasn't this game on Stadia? Why didn't Stadia say, you know what, we need this game too? The Switch has this game.
There is there are some Tomb Raider games on there, right? Because this is a Square Enix property, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean not the Guardians, but like the game is being produced by them, and they've definitely put some Tomb Raider games out on Stadia, and they played really well. They were actually some of the better games that were on that system. So surprising, but I think the general note across the board here is, and I'm not even trying to make any exceptions, Stadia's done.
I think so too.
If they don't close up shop in a year, I would be surprised.
I'm telling you, they're just going to sell the technology to someone.
Oh, sure.
Microsoft, Sony.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Somebody will buy it. And then last, we have Mario Party Superstars coming out on Switch, October 29th. Mm-hmm.
All right, and you can finally play with your friends online. Mario Party game.
Yeah, so they've never had online connectivity before.
That was missing from the last Mario Party game, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Like, I get that, you want it to be the ultimate couch co-op, digital board game type thing, and you want everybody in the same room to play together. But, I mean, they got to get with the times. I guess they finally have, right? Putting it online. So, Jesus. Long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another Mario Party game that I'm not going to buy. So. All right. Let's switch gears and let's talk about PS4, right? So just quietly, Sony has fixed the PS4 bug that would shut down essentially your PlayStation 4 once the internal battery died.
Oh, they dismantled the CBOMB. They did it. They brought in their crew. They put out a firmware update or an OS update, which is great because you're right. As you said before, if the online service isn't there, it can't check against the service for various things. I think to see if you can play the game and to pop
It's really for
achievements
trophies
and all that.
Yeah,
well, that's the
really
big
the
thing.
Trophies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the question is, did they put out an update to fix it on the PS3? That's my biggest worry right there. I have like almost, I think, 300 PS3 games. So I really want to know if they fixed this on the PS3 as well.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I don't know if they had the same issue there.
No, they had the same issue on the PS3 too. So the battery died. Yeah, and it's on the PS5.
Well, that's
on the PS5 too. It's on all their systems.
Sure, I think the biggest issue is the PS3 because, we all know game compatibility is tough, and if Sony doesn't make strides,
with the PS3.
Right. If Sony doesn't make strides to actually put the game on a PS4 or like a PS5, it's locked to that system more or less forever. Like emulation is very hard for PS3 stuff, so that's the craziest. So they fixed 1 out of the 3 consoles so far. So, oy.
And also, we're collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Kena Bridge of Spirits came out in September.
Yep.
Okay, and by all accounts, it's a really good game. People love it. It's got 7s and 8s, and I think I saw a 9 somewhere. Right? I haven't played it because it's digital only, but the physical edition is coming out in November. I think it's November 23rd. I'm not sure. I pre-ordered it 2 weeks ago, so I will have it, the physical edition, when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But Dave, this is a part of the show that we always try to start the show with, but epically fail. What have you been playing?
I was waiting for this, Dan. I was waiting for this. Well, I was waiting for this segment and this game for a while now. But the remake of Diablo 2, or I should say remaster of Diablo 2, sorry, because it's really just a graphical update and a UI update across the board. Not to diminish what Activision Blizzard has done or the team behind it that updated the game has done, but it's now in full widescreen, updated UI, updated graphics across the board, and it is amazing. Best of the series. Diablo 2, pinnacle of the series, right? One was kind of like they were dipping their toes in the water and making this action RPG game. It was good. But it was kind of a little bit basic. And then part 2 blew it out of the water. They improved on everything. They upped the amount of characters from 3 to 5. They had an expansion that added on 2 extra characters, tons more loot, tons more monster variety, just everything across the board. Amazing visuals, amazing voice acting. One of the best opening cutscenes. I mean, just blew me away. And yeah, man, the remake does not disappoint. Well, it partially disappoints because there's no physical edition. So I had to buy it digitally for $40, which hurt. That hurt. But
wait, you're playing on PC, right?
Oh yeah. Playing it on. Yeah, I guess that's important to mention. Yeah, because it's on PS5. I think like PS4 too, Xbox Series X, and all that. But yeah, I mean, you gotta go mouse and keyboard, man. It's the only way to go.
Okay.
So how about you? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of games, man. So I beat Cruisin' Blast on the Switch.
Nice.
It is fairly quickly. I mean, it is an older game. It came out in the arcade like in 2017, 2018. Right? Okay. And now it's being ported to the Switch, which is still weird that it came out in the arcade. Or what arcade? Where are the arcades? It came out in the arcade.
Dave and Buster's, they're out there.
Okay.
They're out there. Dave and Buster's has them. They're.
It's not a long game. I mean, it has like 4 stages, and each stage has like 4 different tracks, right? So that's about 16 stages. I mean, 16 tracks, and then every time you get the trophy, you unlock a different stage, and I think that they have like 8 altogether. I could be wrong about that number, but all they do is remix the stages you already have.
Oh,
right?
sure.
So it's not a ton of variety, right? Like it's not like you have like 30, 40, 50 different stages. They take the main stages they have and remix it somewhat where you go left instead of right. There's a helicopter there that's following you and shooting missiles, or it's a dinosaur themed now, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the casino themed levels, dinosaurs. I mean, or Asian or alien invasion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's they mix it up. It's fairly quickly, and I had a blast. I love the cruising series, right?
I mean, you literally had a blast.
I did. I think the last game we had was just cruising with sort of like a reboot that was on the Wii. I thought
wow.
I had it. I didn't have it, so I had to go out and buy it. So check
Of
out
course.
Saturday Morning Retro for my pickups.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing that. I got back into Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Oh,
PS5.
our game of the year 2 years ago. Our game of the year. Love that game.
I got it. I got the Director's Cut. I gave it the good college try.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Again. I gave it the high school try before. Now I gave it the college try.
Right.
You are the game is. I'm probably not, okay. You know what? I'm a loss for words. The game has me choked up so much.
That's
I'm a
a
loss
first.
for words. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I'm probably never gonna beat this game.
Oh my God. You gotta, okay, look, there's like two things I'll say about it. I think we kind of prefaced it when we were talking about the game of the year stuff, because it was very contentious. I had to fight for Death Stranding in there. And I don't want to diminish the gameplay. And I think
you lucky Spider-Man didn't come out that year.
I think, well, I think the gameplay, it's not the best part of that game, even though I really enjoy it. And I like the fact that they make no bones about the fact that, yes, this is a fetch quest game. Yes, you are a FedEx or UPS delivery. You're a postman. You're a glorified postman. But I think they make traversing around fun, and trying to get over the mountain and get to your destination and all that is kind of a fun part. But you do need the tools, like, because it's at the beginning, it's like easy because it's like flatland, but then they introduce mountains and it's like, whoa, and then the BTs come into play. But you need like the special legs, which enhance your body, right? It attaches to your suit. And you need the truck. The truck allows you to get to your destination very fast. It does need fuel and all that, so you can only go so far without refueling. But that really kind of opens it up. And when you have all of that, then you actually have like weapons, right? You get guns and this and that. You start getting into battles, and there's the I forget what they're called, but kind of like the rogue encampments where they try and steal all your stuff and shock you with their little cattle prods and all that. And then you start fighting like giant BTs and whatnot. Like you're getting into like action scenes and all that. So it turns a little bit from the kind of fetch quests postman game into something more, and then the story starts kicking up, and then it's like, okay, then by that point, like, you're invested in the story. You're like, God, I'm gonna get through it, and they give you a bunch of tools to get over the horrible mountain climbing and all that a lot of people have issues with. So that's all I'll say about that.
You just confirmed it. I'm probably just not going to beat the game. Okay.
Oh my God! You got to the same point you got the last time. You got to get through.
I'm beyond that point now.
You're beyond that point. Okay.
I'm beyond that point.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you gave it the college try again.
Yeah. I'm probably. I'll probably maybe try one more time, and then call it. And just call it. I dropped some. I dropped some of the packages, and I just left it, and I can't go to the next destination until I go back and pick those up and deliver it. And I just don't want to go all the way back and do it again.
Yeah, so there's
just
like
not that fun. I'm sorry.
So there's mechanisms to make sure that you have all your equipment. Like if you go into the menus and check the missions, you'll see what the items that are required for it, and if you have them or don't have them. But yeah, if you don't have them and you can't go back and get them, you have to go all the way back to the starting point, get the equipment again, and then make your way back.
Okay, well here's the thing. Here's positives. Okay, the score, the music.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah,
always said that. And Death Stranding Director's Cut on the PS5 is still the best looking game I've ever seen in my life.
It's amazing.
I thought the PS4 version was great. The PS5 is even better.
Oh, sure.
So, but surprisingly, I'm not gonna lie, I thought getting back into Death Stranding Director's Cut would get me back into the game and I would like it. I was wrong. I'm really into Lost Judgment. I have Lost Judgment for the Xbox Series X, and I've been playing it. I have the steel case because I pre-ordered it, and I think this game is phenomenal. The story is still kind of like, we said this back when we first started the show. I was playing Persona 5, and I said the story is just out of this world. Like really? But it's the same thing here, and I guess it's just a difference in Japanese, in like the cultures, right? Japanese and American culture.
Sure.
But it's sort of like a mystery, right? I got to solve a mystery. I feel like I'm playing the Law and Order game because we know what the crime was, but then there's another crime that we think was committed, or we know it's committed, and we're trying to connect it to, and I have to uncover these secrets. So that part has me really hooked, and I'm trying to figure out like what happened, and that's all I'll say about that without spoiling.
Okay. I feel like it looks very much like a Yakuza game. Am I wrong?
Yes, it is. It is a Yakuza game.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it is from Sega. It's a spin-off from the Yakuza series. They do talk about the Yakuza in the game.
So same like universe and all that. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the top gaming news of the last 2 weeks. And we're back. All right, let's get into the top gaming news of the last 2 weeks. So let's start with the biggest news from 2 weeks ago, which was the Nintendo Direct. The rumored big Nintendo Direct. We got it, and we're going to go over most of the things that were announced. Yep. And let's just jump into it. Let's just start with, they started off with Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion pack. Right, that's coming out in summer 2022, next summer.
Right, off the heels of Iceborne, I think was the last one, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan. I have it. Again, I try to get into it. It's not really my jam. I liked Monster Hunter World, which was like their biggest game of all time, right? They came out on all platforms. Tokyo Game Show also happened last week, and they announced, the author from Ghouls and Ghosts, I think, is going to be in like Monster Hunter. So there's a little crossover there.
Arthur from Ghouls and Ghosts. Hey, yeah, Capcom properties. They definitely love to do that. I think Mega Man was in Monster Hunter World as like a DLC thing or something. So
yeah,
that's
Aloy.
Not surprising. And Aloy too. That's right.
That's right. PlayStation version.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Then they did a tease for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Final DLC character will be revealed. In early October.
Yep. Now, I know you have some thoughts about how they put this together, right? I think you wanted to have them just do it during the presentation, right?
I mean, what was the point of just announcing that it was going to, be out in October? Just announce it and then announce the moveset in October, right? Like have the Sakurai.
Sure. So, I mean, like the thing that I think is good about it is now you get 2 news cycles, right? You get this whole presentation. Stay tuned for the Smash Brothers. They tease it, and then you get a whole, because it's the final fighter, right? There's no season 3. There's no whatever. We don't even know what the state of Smash Brothers is going to be after this, right? Are they going to do like Ultimate 2 or Smash Brothers Omega or whatever? What's the next one going to be? How long is it going to be? Because this game came out like 3 years ago. And they're still putting out fighter packs for it, right? It's still very strong.
For the last DLC character, you can't have another Fire Emblem character, right? You can't have anybody. This needs to be like a big deal, especially if it's going to be its own announcement, right?
Well, yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you do want to go out with a bang for sure. You want to have a solid pick in there, right? You want a Goku level event, right? I don't think it's going to be Goku.
What if they said Iron Man?
That'd be awesome. But then you have to deal with Marvel and whoever owns the video game rights too. I think that would be tough. I don't know if they would do that.
I think I think Marvel would be okay with like one of their characters, Spider-Man, Iron Man.
Well, I
being
mean,
in
maybe
Smash
for
Brothers.
now, but what happens if you can't get the licensing back, right? Because they had that issue with I think, like either going to Brawl or going to Super Smash Brothers 4. They
Yeah,
had
but it
some
has nothing to
licensing
do with
issues.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. That's the next Smash Brothers.
Well, you got to
This
look
one.
towards the future, right? Because
No,
like
don't.
you
No,
know what's going to
don't.
happen again.
This is a big DLC character. You better download it now while you can, or you won't be able to do it ever again.
That
when
is
the
that
license
is
lapse.
Well, I would say that it is a complete break because every one of the characters is first and foremost a video game character. So I don't think they would branch out because Spider-Man, right, comic property before anything else, right, and then a movie property, and then a video game property, right? Or well, maybe the Atari 2600 version came out before the any movie or whatever. But still, it was a comic property first. So I don't know. I feel like he's gonna put out Waluigi. I feel like that's gonna be the one.
It doesn't warrant its own showcase. Then Waluigi, you could have just shown it here. And
well, it's the final DLC fighter, right? So I think in that case it you know, whether the announcement of the character or whether the character is strong or not, it's still the final fighter. No, I mean
that doesn't matter because if the final fighter is a Fire Emblem character, another sword-based character, everyone's gonna roll their eyes and no one's gonna care when you could have buried it in this direct where it would have shielded from all the anger that will come if this final
he gets anger anyway.
direct doesn't live up.
He put Terry from the Fatal Fury series in there, which I think was an amazing pick. And everyone's like, "Who the hell is this?" And I'm like, "Come on, you can't get angry over that."
No, but you can get angry if it's another sword-based Fire Emblem character that no one cares about.
I mean, I don't think there's not a lot left that people would even be like, "Where is it? Like, is this from Fire Emblem?" Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Also, we're not getting sort of one sort of mini direct in October. We're getting two because they announced Animal Crossing will have its own direct in October. Right? So that's enough. I want to know all the big things that are coming to Animal Crossing. I mean, I know Animal Crossing is big. I liked Animal Crossing on the Switch. I mean, it came out at a time where everyone was home. So,
perfect time. Perfect time.
So I had to decorate my virtual home. But does it warrant its own direct? So I want to know. Now I'm kind of curious of all the new things that we're going to get for Animal Crossing, right? That's going to have its own direct, that it warrants its own direct.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too much into that universe, so I don't know, I don't know what the big drop is. Typically, it's just more shit in the game, right? Here's more items to pick up. Here's more special events, which I guess is the extent of it. I don't know if there's new gameplay mechanics or whatever that they put in there, but maybe. I mean, if that's the case, if they put in a big new gameplay mechanic, then I could see okay, here's a nice meaty Animal Crossing announcement, right?
So,
but I don't know.
The Miyamoto, sort of, it was like this little break where Miyamoto came on and announced the cast and release date for Super Mario Brothers, the movie, the animated movie, right? That's coming out.
They did.
It's coming out at the end of next year, but I think what caught everybody's attention is Chris Pratt, Star-Lord from the MCU, will be voicing Mario.
Well, Dan, he's super cool. So, who else could you get in that particular role?
I'm gonna, there's a lot of anger online, a lot of confusion online over this about him playing Mario. I got to be honest. When they said that Heath Ledger, right, is gonna play Joker, I was like, the dude from Knight's Tale is playing Joker. Like I was totally against it. But he turned out to be the best Joker ever,
and he killed it.
He killed it. So I'm gonna hold out. Until I see a trailer and I can see hear the voice and see if it matches what they have on screen, right? The animated Mario. So I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm not gonna kill this right away. I'm gonna say a wait and see approach.
Well, I think it is going to be good, and the reasoning for that is Nintendo is very careful with their property licensing, right? They already got burned once with the original Mario movie that had John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins, R.I.P. And most notably, I guess, Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, as Bowser in the movie, and it was a complete train wreck. You know, it had so many different directors in there, so many hands in the pot, and ultimately Miyamoto was not happy with the output of that. And famously, like, they turned everything inward, and it was like, okay, well, we're not letting other people license this stuff, right? That's it. We're keeping it all in house. And then a couple years ago, they say, hey, okay, we're going to partner with Illumination, who does a lot of the, I think, DreamWorks movies or whatnot, all the 3D animated movies and all that. So you're getting a big name studio, and they've obviously been in the talks with who are we going to get to voice these characters, right? So everybody had a say. I think everybody's on board. So I think it's going to turn out well. As weird as it is to have Chris Pratt play Mario, I still think it's going to be a good movie.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're right with me right there, being a little bit more an optimist. All right, being an optimist. Okay.
Yeah, because you're right. You know, you look at like Heath Ledger, as nobody thought he could play, arguably one of the best villains in a superhero movie. Like he just killed it, right? And everyone's like, nah, this isn't gonna work. Everybody said Mark Ruffalo couldn't play the Hulk, and he killed it. You know, he knocked it out of the park. So
that's true. I'll give you that. Okay.
Oh.
Then we got Castlevania: The Advanced Collection. All right, that's out now. It came out the same day.
Yeah.
I definitely want to pick this up as soon as Limited Run announces it at next E3, because it's probably going to have to wait that long for that.
Oh, yeah.
And also with the next game, which is ActRaiser Renaissance, which is a remastered version of the SNES ActRaiser game. And that's also out today. Well, out now. It came out the same day that the Direct came out. And I can't wait to get that physical edition when it comes out on Limited Run.
Oh, yeah. The same composer of the original, I forget his name offhand, but he was a big Sega composer. He did the remix music for ActRaiser Renaissance. So,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And, well, good.
ActRaiser Renaissance definitely has, people. I heard people really do like the musical score, but it does run poorly. Correct?
Yeah, there's some issues because it was made in I think it was made in Unity, and the way that they put it together, it doesn't run at 60 FPS. I think it runs at 50 FPS, which is a little bit weird because NTSC games, North America, Japan, run at 60 hertz as opposed to 50. So it's a little bit off. It's even worse on the Switch. It's down to like 40 frames per second or something like that, I think. So there's a bit of a stuttering issue with it. Apparently, according to Digital Foundry, according to GameSack, it is a fixable issue. It's actually not that difficult to fix, but they would have to put a patch out for it to kind of update it. So that means your game is not complete. Right, if you want a smooth performance in it, I don't know if that patch is out yet. If they're working on it, I'm assuming they are. But that's what kind of needs to happen. They need to make a small fix to their game code.
Next, we Project Triangle Strategy will now just be called Triangle Strategy, and it will be released in March of next year.
It's a better name, but still not great. Ugh. Yeah, this is in the.
You didn't like Project Octopath Traveler.
No, I still don't like Octopath Traveler. I mean, I get it. There's 8 different heroes, and they're all on a journey, and you get to choose which ones you start out with, and all that. I mean, I get it, but it's still weird. It's just not, because they're all in the same universe, right? Triangle Strategy and Octopath Traveler.
I would assume so, but I don't know. I'm not big on those games. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a release date. That's a good thing that, it's coming out in March of next year. Then they announced something surprising. I was shocked at this. Dying Light 2, Stay Human, will be coming to the Switch, but it's the cloud version. So you have to stream it just like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy or Resident Evil 7, if you wanted to play it on the Switch, it would be streamed, or Control, it would be streamed. Right,
Yeah,
so if you want to play the new Dying Light game, that'll be streamed, and then right after that, Dying Light Platinum Edition, which is the first one with all the DLC, will be coming to the Switch, not the cloud version. So
right,
that's
the physical. Yeah.
Well, we don't know if it's physical, but it's definitely you can download it, and it'll be on your
You can
hopefully
play
they
it
put out hopefully they put out a physical for that. I would pick that up. I like the original Dying Light game.
Right. That's a good game.
Then this came out of nowhere. I love Nintendo because they have these little quirky things that just break up sort of the announcements that you're like, what? And you're scratching your head, and then the announcements that you love. But like a Chocobo GP, which is a Final Fantasy racing game, is coming to the Switch next year.
It's the spiritual successor, or maybe just a sequel to Chocobo Racing on the PlayStation 1. It is a very expensive game. It's a fun game, It's a kart racer just like Mario Kart. But the kind of neat mechanic is just like in Diddy Kong Racing, where if you get the same power up over and over again, you like upgrade what the power up is. And the power ups are all like fire and ice and lightning and all that. So if you get like 3 of them, you get like the ultimate version of that. And it's, it's got the whole Final Fantasy theme. So you get like the Moogles and the Chocobos, and all the, characters from the series are making cameos as kart racers and all that. So yeah. I was like, oh, so happy it's back. So happy it's back.
They have Chocobo Dungeon on the original PlayStation as well.
Chocobo Dungeon 1 and 2. Yeah. And I think they made some on the DS or 3DS too. I think there was 1 or 2 on there.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's back when Square was a little more experimental with their properties. It was a good time.
And then out of left field, we're getting Star Wars Knights of the Republic, not the remake. That's coming out on PS5, timed exclusive, but just sort of a port of the original game. It's coming out to the Switch, and it'll be out this November.
Yeah, that's a little interesting. That's a little interesting. They didn't opt for the remake of it, right?
Well, I would assume the remake would need to be streamed too, and then the remake, we don't know. First, we don't know when it's actually going to be released, and it's a timed exclusive. So even when it's released, it's not going to be out, for any platforms for at least another year.
That's a good point.
So this, I would assume graphically is not going to, it's an original Xbox game, so it's something that they can easily port to the Switch. So, but then we got a couple of heavy hitters, and then this is where I started to get a little bit giddy, right? Because I was excited for this. I'm probably the only person that's excited for this. We're getting a 3D Kirby game, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, right? Now, we heard all the rumors prior to E3 this year that there was going to be a 3D Donkey Kong game that never got announced. And, we haven't heard any more rumors about that. And I think that's because the rumors were half right. We were going to get a 3D game with another IP, another Nintendo IP, right? Sort of with the same engine that they did Mario Odyssey in. But it was Kirby and not Donkey Kong. I could be wrong. I would love to see a Donkey Kong 3D game, and hopefully that's in the works too. But for now, we have to settle with Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I'm actually really excited.
Yeah, first time that Kirby is in a 3D kind of open worldish kind of game, right?
That I can think of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in a racing game, and all his other stuff has kind of been like side scrolling, more or less, So interesting that it took that long to do an open world 3D game for Kirby, because I mean this looks, I mean obviously it's geared towards kids, right? But it looks super cool. So
I don't think it will be as easy as like other Kirby games, just because of the open world setting, right? I think the difficulty will be a little bit harder than normal Kirby games.
Right.
Or at least I hope so.
Yeah, right. You want a little bit of a challenge, right? A little bit.
Then we got another trailer for Splatoon 3. We got gameplay actually from this. So, and the single player campaign was revealed. So, I'm all about that. I'm all about the single player campaign. The original Splatoon, I liked. It was okay. It was different. The single player, the stuff that they had was minimal at best, right? Splatoon 2, I thought was phenomenal, and I even brought the DLC. It was, you want to talk about a challenge, it was challenging, very challenging. So I'm looking forward to playing Splatoon 3.
Yeah, man. Well, that was I was surprised that they had footage out for it already. I thought they were going to save it for sometime next year, but there it is. There it is.
And then all the rumors were that we were going to get, Game Boy and Game Boy Color announced for the Nintendo Online services. However, the rumors prior to that we were going to get sort of a premium subscription model were true, because we are getting Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which you got to love that name, because that is a nod to N64, because we're getting N64 games, right? I mean, that was like the worst kept secret in the world, that the Mario 3D collection was a limited time. That's because they want to add it into their online services. So you have a limited time to buy the physical, because you're going to pay to play it going forward.
To pay the old school, the original version that doesn't have any of the updates, doesn't have widescreen or anything like that. You can just play it online.
And they announced Sega Genesis games also will be coming.
That was the surprising bit.
That was surprising.
That was the surprising bit. I mean, along with this too, right? Because it was kind of a twofold thing. So they announced N64 games, Genesis games, the enhanced, $10 extra or whatever to get the enhanced expansion pack for the online stuff. That kind of makes sense. It sucks that it's now $30 to be able to play everything versus $20, but it is what it is. But alongside all that, they also announced N64 controllers and Genesis controllers, which...
Well, we don't know how much. You got a little ahead of the lead right there. I was going to talk about the controllers, but they don't know how much that this is going to be. There's going to be an announcement in October. October is really going to be big for Nintendo to stay, in the news, because they're going to get... we're going to get an Animal Crossing Direct. We're going to know more about the final Smash Brothers DLC, and we're going to announce how much the new Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is going to cost. But I do think they're going to sneak in, hey, I think it'll be double the price. I think it'll be another $20 a year if you want this, right? Genesis and N64 games. But I think they're going to say, hey, for people who are existing customers who don't want to upgrade, you're going to get Game Boy and Game Boy Color added to the already online Switch Online service.
That would be interesting if they end up doing that. I'm surprised they didn't do Game Boy Color first. I mean, the N64 thing makes sense, right? They did that on the Wii, and I think they did it on the Wii U a little bit too. So they had that before. The Genesis games, I think, was a little bit out of left field. Like, why not do your own internal properties and then, branch out and get other games in there? But I guess
they want people to be excited.
I am. I'm excited for these properties to come. What I'm not excited for is the controllers, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little shade on both companies. N64 controller, It was monumental for its time. Not necessarily the first one with an analog stick, but it really kind of brought camera controls and analog controls into the mainstream, right? It really kind of brought those out. It kind of ushered in 3D gaming done right, and you had dedicated C buttons, which were meant for the camera controls, and then the little analog stick and the button underneath.
How are you poo-pooing that? I mean, it's nostalgia. I mean, we got the NES controllers, which aren't great, by the way. So of course we're gonna get.
Yeah, all of it's nostalgia, right? I don't want to play on a Nintendo controller because it hurts my hands, right? I would play on a Super Nintendo controller because it's amazing and it fits really nice, and it's got 8 buttons if you include start and select, the shoulder buttons, and it feels good, and I can play it for a long period of time. The N64 one, basically the Switch controller is, the evolution of the N64 controller, right? You have 2 analog sticks, you got 2 shoulder buttons, you got 4 face buttons, and it feels nice. It's ergonomic in the hands. It's kind of lightweight. It's not that clunky.
I think you're totally wrong. I have fond memories of N64 controller. I love that controller.
Yeah,
I have no idea how to hold it correctly.
It's nostalgia. That's all it is, right? You keep going back to, I remember playing it. It was great back in the day, and I get that for nostalgia freaks. For nostalgia freaks, sure.
And that's who they're selling it to. They're not selling it to the kid who is now an adult who has no recollection of this, right? Because they grew up. They were born in 2001.
Well. Specifically, they're selling it to people who already have the online service. So you can't buy it unless you have the online service. So, I mean, there is also that because they want to curb, they want to curb scalpers. So, you know, in some respects, yes, they're not trying to like produce 30 million and sell 30 million units, right? It may not be an offering that's like always around. You know, it may be kind of a limited time thing. Here's the N64 controller. If you want it, they'll sell it for a couple of years and then discontinue it. All right. But I guess the bigger issue I have is the Genesis controller. Because it's the 3-button one. Sega put out a 6-button controller, right? Because they realized they didn't have enough buttons on the controller. And games like Street Fighter are basically unplayable because you have to hit the start button to switch from punch to kick, which is insane. You know, I mean, they managed to make it work, but it's not an ideal experience. So,
well, I'll tell you why that doesn't matter. One, the 6-button controller is coming out in Japan. It's not coming out in the U.S. But it doesn't matter because they have games like Castlevania Bloodline, Contra Hardcore, Dr. Robotnik, Mean Bean Machine, right? Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, which is an expensive game. I still want to get that on my wish list. Phantasy Star. 4, Rystar, Shining Force, Shinobi 3, Sonic 2, which was an interesting choice. They didn't put Sonic 1 and 2 on there. Streets of Rage 2, and Strider. None of those games require the 6-button controller.
Well, so that's one of the reasons why they're on there. That's why there's no Street Fighter. That's why there's no Eternal Champions. That's why there's no games that work better or require a 6-button controller, right? So why would you not? They already have the shell. They know what it looks like. They're already doing it in Japan, and they're going to sell it for whatever the yen equivalent is, right? In America. I don't think it's going to cost any more necessarily. So why would you just not put that out in America, right?
Oh, easy. I can explain that too.
It's better all the way around.
I can explain that too. If you that's easy. That's easy. That's an easy question. Because in September of 2022, they're going to announce 10 new Genesis games. And one of those is going to be Eternal Champions. Maybe if they get Capcom involved, they can put out Street Fighter. And then they'll have a special 6-button controller that they could sell you again. All right, you already brought 2 3-button controllers. Now they're going to put out a 6-button controller for $60.
See, that's shitty. That's shitty. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because they're already doing it in Japan. And if I wanted a Genesis experience right now, I would have to get the 3-button controller and play with that and be a little upset because it's an okay controller. The 6-button one.
You know what? If you want the Genesis experience, you would buy the 3-button controller. The 6-button controller didn't come for years after the Genesis was already out.
But it's so much better though. That's all I'm saying. Like,
I know, but you talk about nostalgia. You got to have nostalgia for the 3-button controller, which was different at the time because remember the Genesis went up against the NES.
I don't have a lot of love for it. I don't have a lot of love for it. I take the 6-button controller any day. If you give the people the option, 6-button or 3-button, just in terms of like gameplay, you're going to take the 6-button.
I would buy one 6-button and one 3-button because I have nostalgia
as
for
like
the
a
3-button.
collector. But which one are you going to daily drive? You're going to daily drive the 6-button.
Probably the 3-button
controller.
because I'm not going to play fighting games on Nintendo Online service.
But it's still inferior. It doesn't feel as nice. Like it's more ergonomic. The 6-button controller.
I totally vehemently disagree. I love the Genesis controller. I think it's great. It's just okay. Missing shoulder buttons. To be honest,
okay.
If you ask me,
it's okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So, but then
do you think it's better than the 6-button controller?
If I'm not using a fighting game, yeah. The buttons are the buttons are actually physically bigger than the buttons on the 6-button controller. So playing games like Sonic and Gunstar Heroes and those platformers, I would rather have the bigger buttons than the smaller smaller buttons on the 6-button controller.
All right.
But getting back to the N64 games, I mean, we got Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, which was the best Mario Kart game of all time. I'm saying it, yes. Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and oddly enough, Winback.
Oh yeah, Winback, the one of the first cover shooters. Yeah. And they had, I think they talked about, I was listening to Nintendo Voice Channel, I think I missed it, that they talked about Banjo-Kazooie maybe coming later on, right? Oh.
Like they've already announced games that are coming later on.
Yeah,
so
that would be interesting if they can broker that deal. They can make that happen. They are going to have online play for these games too, right? I think they said that.
Yes.
They're going to add an online functionality, which is awesome, so you can play with other people. Obviously, no voice chat. Sorry, that's just how Nintendo does. But nice that you can play head to head over the internet.
But the mic drop moment at the end of the Direct, we finally got an announcement about Bayonetta 3. Not just an announcement. We got actual gameplay and a release window coming out in 2022. Now, when they first showed it, I had no idea what this was. I was like, what the hell is this? And then you see the cartoon dog, and I was like, is this Astral Chain 2? Because that's sort of I guess a platinum staple, that cartoon dog. And I was kind of like excited and disappointed at the same time, because I was like, if this is Astral Chain 2, why couldn't they show Bayonetta? And it was sort of just a tease, and then Bayonetta shows up. I love her. She has a different look. I love the big dinosaur and the dragons and the epic boss battles. I am so looking forward to playing this game.
Yeah. So we now know why the creator of Bayonetta couldn't say anything. You had to reassure people, yes, don't worry, we're working on it. Oh, that's all they had to say. Toe the line until Nintendo's ready to drop the hammer and go, here you go. It's coming out. So
of course, Nintendo wants to do it on their own terms.
Hell yeah. I mean, Nintendo is the reason why Bayonetta 3 and Bayonetta 2 even got greenlit, because nobody wanted to finance Bayonetta 2 because of the kind of rocky history of the first Bayonetta, right? And Nintendo's like, look, we will finance it, but it's got to be on our system exclusively. And Sega said, okay, we'll make that happen.
So it was a great Nintendo Direct. Again, if they would have had half of these things, or the major announcements at the E3 press conference, and they would have, this was like 5 years ago, everything would have been put, shoved into the E3 press conference. They would have won E3. In my opinion,
they would have had like a 3-hour presentation though. There would have been a lot.
I said half. I could have went without some of the DLC, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So half of those. If they would have just added like Splatoon 3 gameplay,
they would have killed it. Yeah.
Nintendo Switch Online, Bayonetta 3, and you could talk about the last DLC character, right? I thought they would have won E3.
Well, I wonder how much that stuff they had ready and waited, right? They're like, look, we need something for the fall. Let's save this stuff for the fall, versus the stuff that wasn't ready yet.
Well, it's just the difference. It's funny to hear like the difference in the mindset now compared to say 5-10 years ago, right? Where everything was geared up for this one time a year, where you had to make it, had to get everything ready. Where we probably they would have just had an announcement and not gameplay for Bayonetta, right? Or something along those lines. To where now it's like, well, we could sparse it out a little bit. And now it's like, instead of, you have to make sure you have, I mean, it's a gift and a curse, because it's a gift for us, because, as fans, it's a curse for them, because they sort of set like 3 pillars, right? They have E3, which is sort of still the standard bearer, whereas like this is where we're going to announce some of the major announcements. You have September where we're going to announce stuff for the fall and maybe early next year. And then there's always a direct at the beginning of the year to get you hyped before E3 starts. Right?
That's right.
So it's a gift and a curse, because they're going to have to make sure they have something. And and we're always going to judge it by the last direct. So if we don't get a Bayonetta 3 style game in the next direct, that's in like January, February, we're all going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think the one at the beginning of the year is always the weakest, right? Because
a couple of years ago, we got that Smash logo.
I mean, I know, but the way that I see it, right? E3 is like still kind of the biggest time of year for announcements, right? You know,
Correct.
I mean, all the biggest stuff more or less gets released there, and then if it doesn't make there, then people have their own, or TGS, or Paris Games Week, or Gamescom, or there's a lot of other venues where this stuff can be put out, but everyone's trying to make the best E3 presentation, and some stuff doesn't make the cut. So, you know, like, you wouldn't put out stuff earlier in the year if you're like, well, we want to save this for E3, right? So you're going to push it to E3. But if you don't hit the E3 deadline, you know, do you wait till next E3, or do you put it out in the fall and go, okay, we're going to put another presentation together. We'll put it out in the fall, and we'll have a big fall presentation. We'll get in the news cycle. You know, I would say all that stuff falls to fall, right? Maybe Bayonetta was supposed to be at E3, and they're like, well, we can't do it there, but we can do it in our, you know, late September, early October direct. And they fucking killed it. I mean, like, everybody's talking about Nintendo and how well they did, you know?
Yeah. All right. That's it for the Nintendo Direct. Let's shift focus and go to Sony. Right? Sony has made, you know, where Microsoft has made sort of the big splash acquisitions, right? Like they've went and got they got just acquisition after acquisition. They were like the Yankees in the mid 2000s.
That's right.
Just signing big free agents to huge contracts. Didn't really work out. No, you know, didn't get all these World Series wins as we thought we would. Where, you know, Sony's sort of making smaller acquisitions, things that aren't major per se, because these are a lot of companies that already work with them, so they're just keeping them in house, so to speak, right? I mean, we talked about Fire Sprite a couple of weeks ago, which is sort of a smaller team that works on VR games for the Oculus and for PSVR. Now, Fire Sprite actually brought a smaller dev team, which was a studio called Fabric, which were made up of ex-Fire Sprite employees. So
who
now this
used
team
to be part of Sony, who are now back in the fold of Sony.
So yeah, so now this team is like 200 plus people, and they're, you know, really dedicated to making VR games. So Sony's all in on PSVR 2. That's what that shows me. But the latest acquisition from last week was Bluepoint Games, which was sort of announced accidentally a couple of months ago, and then backtracked and said, no, we're not being bought by Sony. But now it's official. I guess they really couldn't say anything. And Sony was the one that accidentally leaked. I think it was like Sony Europe Twitter account had like a graphic of like Bluepoint being, you know, now a Sony first party studio. So Bluepoint, famous for Demon Souls remake on PS5, right? I think they helped out with Gears of War on the 360.
Oh, Judgment, I think, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're really like a port studio, but good news. Well, depending on how you look at it, it seems that they're working on their own new IP, right? And they've earned this right to do this. I'm excited to see what they can do with it. And they have their games are quality. They're top notch as far as their remakes. So let's see what they could do with making their own IP. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Let's stick with Sony. I think next year is going to be a big year in gaming, to be honest. I think we have a lot of A lot of games slated for next year. It's going to be, I think, the game of the year talk is going to be crowded. Okay, with Horizon, Bayonetta 3, Starfield, right? Like just to name a few games off the top of my head that I know are coming out next year. But God of War Ragnarok was supposed to be out this holiday season. Now it's been delayed until 2022. We all just assumed it was COVID, right? The zombie apocalypse. That is the reason why it's being delayed, and maybe that does play a small part or play a part into the delay. But on Twitter, actor Christopher Judd, who I love from Stargate SG-1, the TV series that was on Showtime and then went to the Sci-Fi Channel. Still weird to see him with hair because he was bald for so long.
Right.
Has taken to Twitter to say he was the reason the game was delayed. He had back surgery and he couldn't walk around this time in 2019. So he couldn't do any of the mocap work with the voice acting because they do it in tandem.
Right,
so
right.
And he said the studio has been phenomenal. You know, he's worked in Hollywood for a long time and he's never been treated so you know, with this level of care where no one's complaining, no one's rushing him back, and they've given him all the time, you know, that he needed to recover. Because I mean, think about it: you have to have surgery, you have to recover from your surgery, and then you have to go through rehab because he said he couldn't walk.
Yeah, that's insane, man. I was like, because I heard or I saw the headline that, you know, he was the reason that held it up. I'm like, well why? Why would an actor? And then you talk about the surgery and then the fact that he's also doing the mocap. You're not getting like an Andy Serkis in there to like be your stand-in. Like he is doing all that work. And it's amazing all around to see that everybody involved is like, look, take all the time you need. We'll support you, this and that. Like it's an amazing thing to see. And I think even the fans are like, oh my God, you know, now we get some context around it. And I don't see a lot of negative online for this, which is awesome, right?
I don't see any negative online for this.
Right?
I mean, he said, you know, the studio took the hit by not putting it on him, right? Like they just said it's delayed, coming, you know, like it's coming when it's ready. It's going to be delayed, and he never said a word. There was no leak or rumors about it being him. So he felt so good about that he didn't want the studio to take the hit, and he outed himself.
Yeah. It's just like everybody did all the right things across the board, right? Sony Santa Monica was like, we'll keep it internal, and Christopher Judd is like, nah, I really should say something about it, you know. And
so let's see. Talk about AAA studios. Let's shift it and go to a brand new AAA studio, and that is Hasbro. Hasbro, the toy company, has now opened up a brand new AAA division. Now, I know what you're saying. A toy company making games for their own IP. I mean, they own Transformers, G.I. Joe. Transformers games and G.I. Joe games haven't been the greatest, right? In recent years.
Transformers Devastation, fantastic, but
their new studio is going to be helmed by veterans of the gaming industry, who come from big studios like WB and have worked on AAA games like Hitman and Batman Arkham series. So that actually gives me, I want to say hope, but that, you know, that makes me feel a little bit better about like the next Transformers game or the next G.I. Joe game. Yeah, I would love to see like a G.I. Joe game with sort of like that Batman Arkham style of game.
Well, they've not been a stranger to making games. You know, they've made, you know, the Monopoly games and all their other like board game and those type properties. Like, you know, Hasbro has kind of produced that stuff and whatnot. So they've been around for a while. Have they done big AAA games? Not so much yet. So I'm with you. I'm with you on the excitement. You know, you get good talent in there, and you get good good people to run the projects. You can have some really good games come out of that. I would love a AAA G.I. Joe game with next gen visuals. And you can run around as Snake Eyes and Duke and all them. Oh.
So, and last, let's end the show with, we got an official date for the Game Awards 2021. It's coming out the day after Halo Infinite, December 9th.
Sorry, Halo. You've been snubbed till next year. I think it's the same thing that happened with Smash Brothers. I think it came out on the 6th of December. It just missed it.
Yeah, well, it didn't just miss it. I mean, the game needs to be out fully by like the second week of November. Right? Because people need time to play it and review scores and for it to make the cut.
Yeah, and you also, like, you know, there's fan voting and all that, which gets factored in a small way to what wins. Yeah, I know you've always had an issue with this, and I kind of do too. Why not have it in January? Why does it have to be December? Because you cut off the year in like a weird way, right? Now it's a whole entire year until we can put Halo up for a Game Award, and that means we get, you know, another Battlefield game and another Call of Duty game and another hundreds of shooters that are more in the people's minds than like Halo is, you know, potentially, because it's not new anymore. Right now it's like a year old, so it's
award season is for in every, like, you know, movies, music, like award season is the beginning of the year, so they can get everything that comes out the year prior. So I just don't understand why, you know, he can't have the Game Awards around GDC, right? Like, that's when all the developers get together anyway, so everyone will be in town. You could have it that same week or something, right?
Sure, or even just January, right? Nothing big happens in January, right?
Yeah.
You got New Year's, and then that's it. You don't have any like big conventions or things to kind of get in the way. All the stuff happens February, March, maybe like early April at like the latest. That's the award season. Yeah. So. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, so that's it for the news. That's it. Dave, you got any good weekend plans?
I always got good weekend plans, Dan. Come on now. My weekend plans are always 10 out of 10, even when I'm doing nothing. But I do have to say, and I know you're going to be very happy about this. Apple TV Plus, their streaming service is top notch. It is fantastic on the Dave scale. It's very good. Their content is strong. They have a lot of original programming, right? Which is always important. Why are you going to pay for this service over Netflix, right? And I'm just finishing up Ted Lasso season 2. It's amazing, amazing show about a college football coach, a mediocre college football coach, who gets hired to run a English football club, a fictional English football club. And my God, is it a good show?
I saw that. I mean, I see all the, you know, the awards that he's winning for it, and I see, you know, the praise for it. Maybe I'll subscribe to Apple TV Plus. I
didn't subscribe. I just got a free trial. Just you know, do the free trial and see what it's all about. You know.
I know. I still got to go to Disney Plus because I want to see all the like all the Marvel.
You got to see WandaVision, The Mandalorian. You got to see Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki. Right?
Yeah.
That all plays in. That's all season 4 of the MCU.
All right.
So how about you?
Okay.
You got any weekend
I'm just gonna go jump back into Lost Judgment.
Oh,
I'm really big on Lost Judgment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I need to pick that game up because people were getting high praise.
I would say pick the game up. It's definitely a game you should try.
Okay. Good deal. Well, all right, that is episode 290 in the books, folks. Trust me, we are happy to be back, and we hope you are happy to have another episode in your RSS feed. So, We do want to thank you guys for listening to the show and liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.